Today I'm going to explain the movie called 3096 Days from 2013. The movie begins with a young girl skiing down the snowy mountains and narrating her story. The story begins with, one of them had to be caged, and that was her. In the first scene, a small little girl dances at the tabletop in a bar, and everyone applauds for her performance. A man picks the girl up and kisses her, assuring everyone that she's his daughter. The girl says that it's late, and mom must be waiting for them. The next morning, Natasha's mother wakes her up for school. She takes a lot of time to get up from bed and get ready, while her mother screams that she has to leave for the office. Natasha goes to her kitchen to have her breakfast when her mother notices her red eyes. She asks if they went to the bar again and starts cursing her father. Natasha tries to make her silent when she slaps her. She leaves for school crying, and on her way, a van stops and a man grabs her into the car. He puts Natasha into a hidden washroom in a haunted house with so many inner ways. After some time, Natasha wakes up and tries to examine the room. She gets really scared when she hears a voice coming from somewhere nearby. The man who kidnapped her comes with a floor bed and spreads it on the floor. He sets the bed out for her, and Natasha sadly expresses her desire to go to her mom, but he shuts the door. She screams loudly for help, but nobody listens. Natasha cries heavily and takes her sweater off. She places it in a plastic bag so she can use it as a pillow. In the next scene, Wolfgang Proklopel, the kidnapper, brings Natasha some biscuits and reads her a story of a princess. Natasha licks the chocolate on the biscuits and listens to the story carefully. Natasha lies on the bed to sleep and asks him if he's leaving. She urges him to give her a goodnight kiss, as her mother used to do this. He comes back, shuts the door, and kisses her head. In the next scene, the news shows Natasha's missing incident all over the channel. Her grandmother, sitting on the sofa, watches the television with extreme hopelessness in her eyes. On the other side, Wolfgang's mother places eatables in his fridge so that it's enough for him to get past the weekend. He tells her to put food for two, while his mother gets surprised for a bit. Later that night, he goes to Natasha and washes her hair. He screams at her, saying that her parents don't care about her, as they're not paying him the money. She replies that they aren't rich, and starts crying. He grabs her face and asks her to stop crying. He puts her head in the sink and leaves her in a mess. Natasha cleans the mess that he left behind. The next morning, while Wolfgang is sitting with his mother and grandmother, the bell rings. The police come and ask him that they need to investigate and check his van. He pretends that he's listened to the news and that he knew someone would come. The police examine his van carefully. They ask him some questions and then leave. Natasha recalls how her father used to love her and her mother, and how he used to get ready back at home to leave for the bar. In the morning, he gets himself some breakfast and fits an intercom so that he can hear her upstairs. 186 days have passed by. The next scene shows Natasha spreading clothes on the chairs and pretending as she's teaching them. She draws a doorknob with pencil on the wall and tries to open it. After a while, she pretends to be the anchor as well, as Natasha, who overpowered the kidnapper. Wolfgang's voice comes through the telecom asking if she has brushed her teeth and rinsed her plate. He comes down and Natasha tries to run, but he puts her back inside. Natasha screams on the telecom that she's hungry for 4 days. She cries, saying that she wants to go home. All he replies is, "Obey me." 4 years pass by. She still screams that she hasn't eaten anything for 3 days and asks him to bring her something. On the 1696th day, he brings her a jacket. He asks why she's sitting there in a chair that way, and she replies that she has her period. She says that she needs to take a shower. He takes her upstairs and asks her not to move until he says. He then tells her to go ahead of him wherever he orders her to, but if she screams, he will kill her. He takes her to the washroom to take a shower. She takes her dress off and is completely naked in front of him. She takes a quick shower. In the next scene, his mother places lunch in front of Wolfgang and stands up to leave when he's done. His mother asks if he has a girlfriend, as she's found blonde hair on his coat. When she leaves, Wolfgang brings Natasha upstairs and trims her hair. Natasha sets the table and decorates a Christmas tree. She packs a gift too. Wolfgang brings something to eat to Natasha, and both of them wish each other a Merry Christmas. He shows her a camera, and they both sit. Wolfgang picks up the present she wrapped and hands it over to her as if he brought it. She thanks him and opens as he makes a video of her. It's a Walkman inside, and she loves it. She unwraps the second gift and finds the books she's spent reading all these years. She hugs him. She expresses her desire to meet her family on Christmas. He screams and tells her that he's her mother, her father, her family, and that she's no longer Natasha. She's Viviana and goes by Vivi, and he says that she can call him Wolfgang. Some days later, he makes Vivi work for him to clean a room that is full of cement bags. He asks her to pull off her shirt as it's not needed inside. Now shirtless, she asks him if his girlfriend is moving as she's cleaning. He cuts open a bag and pours cement on her. She says that she needs to have a shower. Wolfgang asks her to sleep with him upstairs tonight. Both of them enter his room. He pulls off his pants, and Vivi pulls her shirt off when he stops her too. He takes out a rope, and she gives him both of her hands to tie up. He ties one of his hands to hers so that she doesn't run at night and gets into bed with her. The next night, he makes her sleep shirtless with him. Later on, she desires to go to the garden. He takes her out for a while and then puts her back in the same basement room. In the next scene, Wolfgang brings her some jeans and a shirt so that she can wear it and look nice. Her hair now reaches her shoulders. He takes her out to buy some new stuff for their room: purple paint, marble, and wooden shelves. Vivi tries to escape from the store when she sees that Wolfgang is not around, but he comes back in just a moment. She takes some days to paint and set the room for him. One night, he brings her up into the room, takes out a present from his drawer, and hands it over to her. She peeks into it and finds a white wedding dress that's small in the form of lingerie and lipstick. She gets ready and both of them lay in bed. He kisses her on the lips and then sleeps with her. He says that it's their wedding night. Vivi asks why he chose her, and all he replies is that he's been waiting for Vivi for so long. She investigates what made him choose her, and he replies with a smile. The scene fades out to her childhood when Wolfgang saw her for the first time. When she was 8 years old, he saw her in a store eating biscuits. He told her that he planned and planned. He thought so much about her that he made a hidden room beneath the house. He had done each and every fitting himself. That's when he decided he wanted Natasha. Natasha gets really confused. He hugs her and then goes to sleep. After some days, Vivi tries to commit suicide. She burns her childhood clothes in her small hidden room, and the entire room burns in smoke. She hears Wolfgang entering the house, so she spreads water all over and sprays the entire room so he doesn't feel like something happened. He enters the room and smells something. Wolfgang grabs her from the face and screams loudly at her. He threatens her that if she ever tries to kill herself, that would be a very wrong decision. He leaves her on the floor crying. She demands that she wants to go out. She's gotten tired of this life, but he refuses. She writes another letter out of thousands that she's written to her parents. She also writes on a tissue paper how much he stabs her and kicks her. Wolfgang listens to her reading what she wrote. On an extremely snowy day, he takes her out in a red car. It's the 2847th day. Both of them go to ski, wearing goggles so no one can recognize them. She falls down time and again, and he bucks her up a number of times, but she terribly fails. He shows her the ladies' washroom, and she goes inside. There she finds a woman she tries to tell who she is, but the woman doesn't understand, as she speaks another language. Natasha feels so helpless. The woman comes out only saying her name. Wolfgang hears this and takes her home immediately. He asks her what happened inside the bathroom. She replies that nothing did, but he slaps her and punches her a number of times until she becomes wounded. At night, she sits on her toilet seat in her room and takes out her toothbrush from the bag. She finds herself unable to brush as her face has gotten all swollen after the hitting. She rolls down another letter and puts it in a box. On the 2908th day, he brings her upstairs and shows her a big cake. He wishes her a happy 18th birthday and gives her a frock as a present. He dances with her, playing music in the back, and cuts the cake with her. The next day, he cuts down a tree and she helps. A neighborhood woman watches them both and smiles. Later, Natasha goes downstairs and calls herself dumb since she can't do anything to escape. At night, she cooks him food and sets the table. Both of them have dinner together. The next day, she helps clean his van. Wolfgang gets a call and goes inside. Natasha finds the gate open and runs outside. She goes far and enters into a woman's house. She explains to the lady who she is, but she doesn't understand. They call the police and they arrive within some time. The cops take her to the police station and call her mother. She picks up the call, and both parents come to take her back. Meanwhile, Wolfgang attempts suicide by laying on the railway track. The movie ends with the media surrounding Natasha. She sits inside the car and stares out of the window and says, "It was clear only one of us would survive, and that was me, not him."